you was happy to take the ride at the time, and you knew or should have known your role, right? So like, why are you gonna come back like 20 years after the fact and talk shit? First of all, Hove is the quintessential capitalist.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or hate it, right? It is what it is, right? If you're looking to Hove to make all the quote unquote right moves at every turn, you're looking in the wrong place, right? You can't get emotional about like, yo, he didn't look out for me, he didn't do this, he didn't pay me enough. Like, bro, he's a billionaire. You're not gonna find any billionaire ever in life that's going to not exploit the people that are under him. And that just is what it is. Now, if we want to talk about the system of capitalism and how it's built to exploit the people, you know, on the lower rungs, that's a whole other conversation. We can have that conversation. But if we're gonna celebrate Hove for the level that he's gotten to and the stature that he has, we have to also acknowledge that he got there by being the hyper capitalist that he is, and he along the way he had to exploit some people. That just is what it is.
I don't necessarily see it that way, but I'm gonna let Jure cook. Talk to me, Jure.
I think that Oskino might have bitter baby mama syndrome.
Oh,
just a bit.
Coming in hot.
It sucks. You were with somebody, you know it's over. Destiny's Child members, they all went on to do other things in their life.
Right.
What did you do? Did you keep rapping? Did you get better? No. You can't be mad at somebody because it didn't work for you. And I hate to see Beanie like this because he knows how much Jay-Z turned his life around.
Absolutely.
But I also feel like when somebody passed you the rock, I don't even do sports.
Pun
what
intended.
you gonna do with it? You keep waiting for somebody to help you or give you the alley. No. Sometimes you gotta dunk.
Even after he had to go sit, he came out of jail. He gave ignorant shit. He gave Beans a verse on that
like
on American Gangster.
I'm feeling very excluded tonight. Me and you tonight.
First of all,
What
no.
happened?
I reached out for the bottle. I asked. He was gonna put it back.
Oh, okay.
You didn't ask, Jure.
I shouldn't have to ask, Ray.
Now this.
But you
Call my whole government on the
Doesn't
pod.
matter
You
what
see
I
this?
wasn't doing.
See, that's why we don't invite y'all on here.
You gonna treat me right tonight.
You want him to pour it too?
Yes.
Is that what you want?
Yes. Thank you.
Ladies first.
I'll take it
Ladies
this way.
first.
So, Dini, how do you feel about
Same
Oskino
way.
and his
Gotta do it.
feelings?
Thank you.
Oh man, you know, I'm forced to look at it from different angles, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, here we go. Dini the liberal.
You know, it's not a liberal thing. All right, let's say I look at it like this. It depends on the position that Oskino is in life. You get what I'm saying? Like if like he said, I have to admit, when Nas was coming for Hove, it was that whole rock that was on Nas's ass. Like it was they had Hove's back. You know what I'm saying? And we're in hip hop, bro, where a bad mark on your record could knock you off the game.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So they did hold him down. They did help him maintain it. But this is Nas we talking about. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to that conversation one day, but this is Nas. So you got some wolves on your ass. You got the gangsters with you. And they did what they supposed to do as gangsters. And I'm sure they cleared out a lot of beef for Hove. A lot of dudes that might have want to go at Hove, you're like, do I really want that state prop work too? You don't think no one ever felt that?
Bro.
Nobody?
So you acting like Hove don't have the ball work to
That's
to
not what
stand
I'm
up,
saying.
son.
No, Hove, come on, Hove is legendary. What I'm saying is this though. Like you have more money than God at this point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you're surrounded by a bunch of people that were at your side that don't look like they're doing the best they can. Where the money that you spend on lunch could change one of these people's lives. I think that's where Oskino was coming from.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate
Talk
with
to
that
me.
point there. Why didn't Jay-Z feel like these guys were viable enough to keep around? Because when the Rock split, he kept Bleak to this day. Bleak is still here. Bleak had a worse. I would say State Property was more popular than Bleak ever was. Am I wildin'?
Yes.
No.
I think so.
Bleak, no. As a total,
State Property.
Bleak by himself. Bleak was only popular next to Hove.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't think
State
State Property was hotter than Bleak? The crew, like that wave that they had, you wouldn't say State Property was hotter than
Like
Bleak?
I love Bleak, but he don't got nothing hotter than One for PD Crack. Does he?
Facts.
You love Bleak. Love is a strong.
I like Bleak, bro.
All right, like Bleak, that's better.
He meant
I
that
love Bleak.
conversation.
No,
though.
no,
Nah,
no.
okay,
I meant that for as far as who Bleak is. For him to be at Hove's side since damn near the first
Right.
album, like that's
Yeah.
I love him for that, bro.
Like, he
I love
hasn't got
loyalty,
pushed out
bro.
the way. When Roc-A-Fella split, Kanye, he got taken with him. Took it with him.
Not to sound messed up. Some people serve a purpose. If you get what I'm
feel
saying,
true,
maybe
but
they outlived the purpose.
Yeah, but that's my point. What about State Property did Jay-Z view them as expendable?
It was high school. This is my crew in
This is
12th
my.
grade.
There you go.
We graduated.
And they weren't.
Y'all can't come with us.
And then you make a great point, Jere. State Property, in my opinion, weren't ready to graduate as men. Like, whatever they were doing at that time, Jay felt like whatever rooms I'm about to be in, I can't take y'all with me.
Because they had that Meek syndrome.
Okay.
And you look at it like
Full circle.
they had the Roc-A-Fella rub.
And they from Philly.
Yeah.
Look at that.
They got to keep. They from Philly. Oh my God.
Nah, but I love music that comes out of Philly. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, something about that city, it takes a lot out of them. But they got to keep their Roc-A-Fella chains. They got to keep the energy. Why didn't y'all establish yourselves on your own? Freeway made a classic album. Most people who heard the album tells you it was a classic or near classic. Why
legend.
couldn't he? You know what I'm saying? Why did Beans fumble the bag? How did Beans end up in prison after the whole dynasty run? Why we not talking about that? But we talking about what Jay-Z didn't do for you? Why did Jay-Z view you as expendable? Why do people never take accountability for their roles in the film?
No, they definitely not. And that's the side of the angle I was about to get to. I said that's
Okay,
I'm taking it from
I'm
different
passing it
angles.
back.
You know what I'm saying? Does Jay-Z have to take care of anybody? No. But like I said, the money that he uses to blow his nose would change one of these dudes' lives. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? That's like if you needed to borrow $100 right now, I'd give it to you. You know what I'm saying? If you needed it.
But you know you would get it back. That's the point. And it's not even that he needs it back.
Maybe Oskino could get a flip. Maybe you could give me 100, I get 200. I give you 100 back.
It's not even just that. It's just like, you know.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
What level of emotional connection do you have to these people? You know what I mean? Like, if you just like met them on your ascent
It
to
was on the road with you,
superstardom,
touring.
all right, that's fine. But that's
They
all
had-
of that is work.
It sounds
That's
like they
work.
had a season in
Those
Hope's life.
they're coworkers.
You know what it is, bro? I might be looking at it still from the angle of like old hip hop, where it's like, even though we're just coworkers, like these are my bros.
Nah,
you know what I'm
but
saying?
State Property come up with Hove.
They
Bleak
didn't
came
come up with him,
saying.
but they came up as
And
a unit.
Bleak
when
is
they-
taking
No, they
care
did.
of.
Hove was a superstar when State Property
That's
came
not
about.
what I'm saying. Is when you see State Prop, you see Hove. As far as like on tour, that Hove was the boss essentially. You know what I'm saying?
He was the boss.
The boss.
Right.
So if you
the dynasty was 3 people, bro.
you right, you know what I'm saying. But like I said, if you was the boss and somebody was under you, and you see that this person's starving, and like I said, you have more money than Jesus.
But see, you
Christ.
looking at that from a sentimental perspective.
I am.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm looking at it from like, if that's the
You
bros.
see how?
you
Go
know what I'm
ahead, Dre.
saying?
I don't want to step on you, Dre.
But even from a sentimental perspective,
to me.
right? If I can teach you how to fish and you just don't want to learn, you just want me to keep giving you fish, I'm not gonna keep doing it.
What-
It's not like he's never helped them. He put them in a position to better themselves,
He had
and
a
they
clothing
didn't
line.
do it.
Whole
What's
clothing
the
line,
line, bro? It's like the drunk uncle in your fam, whatever. So you love him the same.
It's not
Yeah,
family.
to the line.
But
It's not
having
family.
love for you,
It's not Roc-A-Fella family. Rock La
no, it's
Familia.
work. State Prop
Not
was
State
a fam.
Property.
They was a fam.
They-
State Prop.
BD Siegel is State Property. He's a
And-
part of the Rock. He's the head guy. What are we talking about, Mo?
Rock La Familia.
He was the head. My man's. If I'm working with you, my man's is working
All
under
right,
me,
so
bro.
so then
But you my
by
man.
that rationale, then where do
got
we
something.
draw that line? Like my man's. I got to take care of all of them.
No.
I'm not saying you have to take care
You know
of all
what?
of them.
But think about Jay-Z's come up. Hove never had anyone take care of him.
He had.
That's why it's always been difficult for him to feel like he needs to take care of people. You ever notice that Jay always gravitates towards people who can build themselves up, and then he'll give them that push to get to the next level.
You don't feel like if you hit a lick right now, you would transcend to a different level if you had a lick.
I hit a lick. I didn't ask Jay-Z to give me the lick, nigga.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you had a loan, a pause, a big lick. This sounds terrible. If you got a nice chunk of money, couldn't you put more things in
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. I think sometimes it's like that. Like sometimes
But
they just need the
you're right.
The kickstart.
But they got the bread, bro. They were signed to Roc-A-Fella.
With your man,
Wait, hold on, let me finish.
Talk to me.
They had a movie, a clothing line, a
True.
whole album,
a record label.
Yeah. Bro.
Split
what
between like
more
30
do
dudes
you
though.
want? But what I'm saying is, Jay-Z, unlike other people in this industry, he realized Jay didn't take no shorts. They weren't fucking with Hov like that. And Hov, even when Reasonable came out, he had to earn that, son. He didn't have Diddy.
Right.
He didn't have Andre Harrell. He didn't have any of these people.
My point is arguing because you could look at it like the Ace Hood thing where he was falling down and Khaled said, "I ain't helping you. You need a hit."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could look at it like that. But I say all that to say, like, for all the young dudes coming up in the game trying to get your grind, bro, like, they're not your bros sometimes. They're your coworkers.
But
you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna push back against that.
Talk to me.
Because this is a good conversation.
I love it.
Dipset is the perfect example of what you're supposed to do when you get that rub. Why Stay Proud couldn't do that?
They're not Dipset.
Dipset got next to Dame. Dipset got on when The Rock was at its peak. And Dipset transcended Roc-A-Fella. Why Stay Proud couldn't do that?
First of all, Oskino's not as talented as anybody that raps on Dipset.
But they had people with the vision to activate. Who was the person activating for State Property? You don't hear Cam and Jimmy crying about what Dame didn't do. They took the opportunity and they ran, right?
And then they parted ways and they still ran.
And they still ran. Went to Koch, went to Alpha Distributions, and they stayed hot.
But what I'm
I
saying,
think
what I'm
that's the
saying is
difference.
this:
Sorry.
if Cam was in the jam, I'm sure Dame would help him. If Jimmy was in the jam, I'm sure Cam would help him. If Jewels is in the jam, I'm sure Jewels is in the jam. Joint sound like crazy, but everybody will help each other. I'm just saying, like, apparently, I'm not saying he has to. He don't have to. Nobody has to do nothing.
All right.
All we have to do is stay black and die.
Go ahead, Dre.
But he could help him. You know what I'm saying? He could.
I think that's the difference between people who grow up in different demographics. Like New York is a hood, Philly's a hood, but we have a different mindset. In New York, we go-getters.
Yeah, we hustle.
I don't know. I'm not saying anything against Philly, but everybody that you keep mentioning are from these two places, right? So Dipset, State Property, same opportunity. Dipset is still relevant.
Like I said, Dipset is Dipset. You know what I'm saying?
But it's not about Dipset is Dipset. It was
bigger
the
than that.
mindset.
Mindset, bars.
Everybody from
Fam.
Dipset had their own like clean run though. Jewels had a clean run.
Yeah, but what did they do to get that run?
Oskino never had a
Took
clean
advantage
run.
of the opportunity
What
given
stopped
to them.
State Property from doing the same thing?
Bro, a lot of people in State Prop never gave us.
It could have been a mindset. It was like,
It's like
you
eight.
know,
How many? It's like 8 people in State Prop. We
It
only
could-
got
it could
albums
have
from, like,
been-
two.
I-
We got
you're not
Answering
talented
the
enough.
question though.
But
They
whatever it is,
they could have put their best foot forward. You're
But
absolutely
they
right.
didn't.
They could have. So that'll be an L on them. But now that they didn't put their best foot forward,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Hov is an opportunity to help them.
Why should he?
He doesn't have to.
My point is, if
Because y'all was riding with me in a time where I needed y'all to ride with
he
me. That's
had
why.
beef, they rolled out for Hov. They got the record label, clothing line, movies. They were controlling the culture. Why didn't you capitalize off of that? Granted, you stood next to me, you helped me out. And because you stood next to me, you became bigger stars than you could have ever dreamed of being. Because y'all were just rappers. A lot of us didn't know who the hell State Property was until they came on Hot 97 and shut down Flex's show that night.
Big move.
But why did they get in that room? Because of Jay-Z. Why didn't you capitalize off of that? How do we know that you didn't backbite from back in the day? The same way you could get on a podcast and talk crazy about this billionaire 20 years later. How do we know you wasn't doing that 20 years ago?
behind closed doors.
We don't.
It's comfortable to beat up on Jay-Z. I'm not even defending him. I don't have a side in this situation. But I feel like we have to start holding adults accountable. Stop pointing to the rich dude to say you didn't help me. What did you do to help yourself?
You're right.
But you love Hope.
I do. I do.